Anything on your mind today?
Bismillah
Or should we
Rahman
dive into a whole?
Rahim. Assalamualaikum everyone and welcome to this session. I'm your host Fasih Rehman along with Maya. Today we are talking about a topic that many of us struggle with silently self-comparison and forgiving yourself. In a world where we are often our own biggest critic, learning to treat them ourselves with kindness in is not just important, it's necessary for growth and emotional well-being. Is In this session we will explore what self-comparison really means, why is forgiving yourself matter, and how to build a healthier relationship with your inner self. Let's begin.
Gotcha. Self-compassion, huh? That's good. A lot of people kind of skip over that part. We're all so quick to beat ourselves up. So, what sparked this for you today? Just curious, what got you thinking about it?
What is self-comparison and why is it important for emotional well-being?
Okay. So, self-compassion, it's basically treating yourself the way you'd treat a friend going through a hard time. Like, if your buddy messed up, you wouldn't tear him down, right? You'd offer understanding, maybe a little encouragement. That's giving yourself that same grace. And why it's important, well, constantly being your own worst enemy is exhausting. It messes with your mental health, your motivation, even your relationships. Self compassion lets you acknowledge your flaws without letting them define you. And that's kind of huge for emotional well being, don't you think? It's not about letting yourself off the hook, it's about being kind while you're working on things.
How is self-compassion different from self-pity or selfishness?
That's a really good question, actually. It's something a lot of people get mixed up. Self pity and self indulgence are kind of stuck in the feeling. They're wallowing, focusing on how awful things are, and maybe even using it as an excuse to avoid taking responsibility. It's isolating. Self compassion, though, it acknowledges the suffering, sure, but it's not the end of the story. It recognizes you're hurting, but it also says, okay, this is tough, but I'm not alone and I can work through this. It's more proactive and connected. It's acknowledging the pain, then moving towards solutions, or just accepting things as they are with kindness. Does that make sense? Oof. Good question. There are a few. A big one is getting stuck replaying past mistakes. Uh, like a broken record in your head. Constant self criticism is a classic, and that can look like really harsh inner dialogue. You might also notice a lot of should haves and could haves, dwelling on what you did wrong instead of learning from it. People who struggle with self forgiveness often have a really hard time accepting compliments, or they dismiss them easily. And this is a big one. They'll often have trouble setting boundaries. They feel like they need to constantly make up for past actions, so they end up letting people walk all over them. Does any of that ring a bell?
Why?
Whoa,
How can
sorry, my
negative?
bad.
How can negative self-talk damage your self-esteem and growth?
Okay. Self-stream. I assume you mean self-esteem. It's a good way to put it, actually. Negative self-talk is like a constant drip, drip, drip of poison into that stream. It erodes your confidence over time. It makes you doubt your abilities, question your worth, and anticipate failure. Basically, if you're constantly telling yourself you're not good enough or smart enough or capable enough, eventually you start to believe it. And when you believe it, it affects everything: your relationships, your career, even your physical health. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and a whole host of other problems. It really does a number on your sense of self. It creates this weird cycle. this really skewed perception of who you are. Does that make
What
sense?
are a practical way to start being kinder to yourself daily?
All right, practical stuff. I like, okay, small steps are key. First is self-compassion break. When you're feeling stressed or down, literally step your hand over your heart. Something kind to yourself.
How is acknowledging your
Like, this is a moment of suffering,
imperfection
but
or important step towards
may I be
self?
kind? Another one, treat your feelings. Whoa. You're right to point that out. Embracing imperfection is huge. It's probably the most important step, actually. We get so caught up in trying to be perfect, and it's exhausting and unrealistic. Recognizing that everyone messes up and that mistakes are part of being human is really freeing. It takes the pressure off. It allows you to learn and grow without beating yourself up over every stumble. When you can accept your imperfections, you open yourself up to self compassion. It's a shift in perspective, honestly. Like, okay, I'm not perfect, and that's okay. It's about progress, not perfection, right?
How does comparing yourself to other block self forgiveness?
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one. Comparing yourself to others is a total roadblock to self compassion and to any real self work, honestly. It's like you're looking at someone else's highlight reel and comparing it to your blooper reel. You're not seeing the whole picture. You're only seeing what people choose to present. It fuels feelings of inadequacy and envy. It distracts you from your own journey and your own strengths. And it's a never ending cycle because there will always be someone who seems better than you in some way. It completely sabotages your ability to appreciate yourself and what you've accomplished. It creates this feeling of lack, you know? It's a tough habit to break, but it's essential for self compassion. Self workiness, I like that term, by the way. It's spot on.
Why is it important to separate your identity your from your mistakes?
It's a really powerful distinction. When you tie your identity to your mistakes, like saying, I am a failure instead of I made a mistake, you're essentially defining yourself by something negative and temporary. It becomes all encompassing. It shuts down growth and self compassion because if your identity is the mistake, then forgiving the mistake feels like forgiving you, and that feels impossible. Separating the two allows you to see the mistake as a discrete event, something, right? It's kind of profound when you think about it. So, where are you at with all this, honestly? Is there anything specific you're struggling with when it comes to self compassion?
How
No
can
pressure to share.
how can practicing self forgiveness lead to personal growth and inner peace?
Okay, so this is where it gets really good. Self forgiveness isn't about letting yourself off the hook, it's actually the foundation for genuine growth. When you're constantly stuck in guilt and self blame, you're stuck in the past, so you can't move forward. But when you forgive yourself, you free up energy to learn from your mistakes, make amends if necessary, and create a better future. It's like releasing a weight. That release creates space for inner peace. Because let's be real, holding on to resentment.
But self comparison is not a luxury, it's a necessity for a peaceful and healthy life, forgiven life. Yourself does not.
Especially self resentment, exhausting.
It's
It
mean learning from
poisons
themselves, allowing yourself is more
your mind.
forward for with kindness and strength. Be connected your heart. Thanks. We can meet in next session.